Stuff. Can I ask for an injury update first, Tommy? I know obviously Zach Medley was the big one that came off at the weekend. All good?
He's fine. Trained all week. Well, sorry, done a light session on Monday. Trained the rest of the week. No problems. Mona, Kelty's fit. Ross Millins suspended. Got his last game of 2 games in the league, so he'll miss out. And Tispola took a wee knock on Wednesday, so we'll just reassess him in the morning. He could be a doubt, but everybody else is fit. So at the minute, the only definite out is Ross Millen through suspension.
I know every game post-split seems like a massive game, but does tomorrow have a really big feel about it, just given the position of the two teams?
I mean, it's quite simple. We know that if we win, we can move out of the bottom 2. And that's our aim. It's as simple as that, and that's what the focus has been on, since the STEMI game, is preparing for this game to make sure that we get 3 points and move ourselves up the table, and that ultimately would keep the run going, build a wee bit of momentum, hopefully, get into the next game, and obviously would be a good start in this post-split games.
When you say it's as simple as that, is that the key really, to just not overcomplicate things at this point in the season, especially when you're coming off the back of 2 victories?
I don't see we haven't the tempo and how well we've worked, and between Monday and Friday's been the same since I've come in. It's been a constant. The performance have been constant. What we've done better in the last couple of games in particular has been a bit more creative, a bit more ruthless, and we've scored goals. Even up at Ross County, we got a couple, but unfortunately didn't defend particularly well that day. So everything. I mean, it's a simple game. I don't see any reason to complicate it. The players, we haven't hyped up the game in any way. The players know the importance of the game, and to be honest, any footballer should want to go in to any game wanting to win it, and that'll not change on Saturday.
Tommy, do you see maybe a weight off the kind of wide players, the creative midfielders' shoulders? Maybe that these goals are coming now, that they can maybe play with a bit more freedom when they're in the final third.
I don't know how you judge it. I mean, because the spirit's been really good, and the confidence has been good in training every day. The quality's been good in training. I think they should get more. Kyle's given us a real focus point up there, and I think players have responded to that. He brings people into play. Have you seen his second goal against Steny, where it's a one-touch finish? He's instinctive. He's a finisher. So that's been a big help for us. And I think the other players have fed off that, and fed off, the fact that we've got somebody up there who is a real threat for us.
And to be going into, the final 5 fixtures on a high, I mean, that's a very good thing to have, isn't it?
No, we are aware that we're in not in a great position. We've and that's our own fault. That's nobody else's fault. It's not, it's not refereeing decisions. It's not budgets. It's we have got ourselves in this position. What we've done, I think, since I've come in, has been up the level of performance. Not probably get the points we deserved, and that can happen. But the last 2 games has been really positive for us, and to score 8 goals, irrespective that we played a team in the lower leagues. We know how difficult cup games can be. The confidence is good. Would never ever want the players to be overconfident, and certainly that's not the case.
Hi, Tommy.
Hi, Steph.
How, if you can get the win this weekend, how pivotal do you think that could be in terms of the outcome of your season and securing your place in the Premiership?
Well, I think when you get down to the last 5 games and you're playing the teams, directly in and around you, a win against them is massive. What it does for you the rest of the season, we won't know until you play them games, but I'd rather be coming off tomorrow's game as a winner rather than someone who's lost a game. wins at this stage of the season. It's hard to pick wins up, and every win is going to be vital. And when you're playing the team above you and you have the opportunity to go above them, you know, it would be a big help and help a long way to us, you know, getting in to be safe.
And John Hughes said this week that all the pressure's on Kilmarnock this weekend and that Killie have underachieved this season. I mean, what's your reaction to that?
I don't really listen to John too much because, you know, he probably talks too much. Our focus has been ourselves. Maybe he should focus on his team. Okay,
and obviously you go into the game on the back.
I mean, so it's maybe referees have caused Ross County to be where they are. I think he's maybe trying to influence referees, but no, we'll concentrate on our own team.
And you go into the game on the back of these two great results. Do you feel things are coming together now and that you can progress from here?
Yeah, because I've seen a progression since I've come in. I've seen a level of performance that's get better and better each game. In the last two games, we've finished games off. We've been ruthless. So, yeah, I've seen a marked improvement, and we have to continue that run. We know if we can go on a run, you know, we can hopefully go on a cup run and finish the season off strongly in the league.
And just away from the game itself, we saw last night that Rangers are boycotting social media. What do you make of that and the situation going on there at the moment?
Well, I think they're entitled to do that. I think social media is a platform that is full of hate. A lot of the times it's full of people that think they can write and say what they want and hide behind freedom of speech. But I also think that the authorities, you know, UEFA, governments, these social media companies, you know, they've got to do more because, you know, let's be honest, you know, taking the knee, standing, whatever you do, I don't think that really makes any difference because the change has to come from the top. It highlights it obviously, but highlighting it hasn't changed it. It's still out there. It's still, and not only you know, racism, you know, sectarian abuse, but just general abuse that players have to take, and other people have to take in different walks of life. So I think there has to be drastic changes in terms of how social media is, you know, is monitored, and government has to take. But again, you know, it has to start in the schools as well. It has to be education. It has to be the next generation of people that will eventually change it. And
have you yourself seen, as a manager or amongst your players, social media being a problem that really affects players?
Well, I don't go on social media, but I do know, because you hear things, you read things in the press. So some of the things I've read, I know one of our players was getting abuse, and he's come off it. And I would probably encourage all my players to come off it. But, you know, there's parts of social media that can, you know, be good. But I think in the main, it probably causes more trouble than, you know, it's probably than what it's really worth.
Okay, thank you.
Tommy, just going back to tomorrow's game, do you think tomorrow's a must not lose type of game?
Well, we're going out to win it. That's our mantra. We've always wanted to go into every game to win it. And the second best option is, if you don't win it, you get a draw and you move on to the next game. You know, we are going out to work. It's hard to get 3 points. If we fall short and only get one, well, we'll just have to accept that and move on to the next game. It's for other people to say if they think it's a mustn't lose game.
Brandon Houmstrup was talking about how, you know, you sort of lost that game in Dingwall in those sort of 5 minutes after half time. Are you looking, will this be a sort of good test to see how how much you've improved defensively at least?
Well, I think defensively since I've been here, that 5-minute blip that we had at Ross County was the only time we could question how we defend it as a team. Previously, you know, we'd went to Ibrox and we'd only lost by 1 goal. You know, nobody was cutting us open. You know, it was a wonder goal at Ibrox. At Aberdeen, it was a set play that done us. So defensively, we have been good, but we had a 5-minute mad period after half time where we just didn't do the basic job of defending and doing the right thing. So against Motherwell we were good, and against Stanley we were good. So that 5-minute spell was, and that shows you how quickly games can change. So we've got to make sure that we have a 90-minute performance.